Imagine you and your best friends plan the trip of a lifetime. You are young, you are strong, and you are fearless. You pack your bags, you laugh about the journey ahead, and you hike into the wilderness, expecting to return as heroes. But imagine that the mountain has other plans. Imagine that days later, your tent is found slashed open, not by a bear or an enemy, but by you. From the inside, to understand the horror, we have to understand the victims. It was January 1959 in the Soviet Union. The leader was Igor Dyatlov, a 23-year-old engineering student. He was brilliant, tough, and highly respected. He assembled a team of 8 others. These weren't amateurs. They were grade 2 hikers, the highest certification available at the time. They were preparing for a trek across the northern Urals to reach Mount Otterton. But to get there, they had to cross a pass on the slopes of Kholat Syakhl. In the language of the indigenous Mansi people, this name has a very specific translation. It means dead mountain. We know their final days thanks to the diaries they left behind. The entries start out cheerful. They joke about the cold. They talk about falling in love. They complain about the food. They were just kids, having fun. But on February 1st, the weather turned. A massive snowstorm hit the mountain. Losing their bearings, the group set up camp on an exposed slope, rather than retreating to the safety of the forest below. It was a fatal mistake. That night, the temperature dropped to -30 degrees Celsius. They ate dinner, they took off their wet boots, they got into their sleeping bags, and then silence. When the group failed to send a telegram announcing their return, families began to panic. A search party was sent out. It took weeks to find the campsite, and what they found made absolutely no sense. The tent was half buried in snow, but it wasn't crushed. Investigators found that the canvas had been slashed open with a knife. But here is the detail that keeps experts awake at night. The cuts were made from the inside. They didn't unzip the door. In a frenzy of pure terror, they cut their way out and ran. Investigators found 9 sets of footprints leading down the slope toward the tree line. Some were wearing only socks. Some were barefoot. About a mile away, at the edge of the forest, the first 2 bodies were found. Doroshenko and Krivonishenko. They were found near the remains of a tiny fire, stripped to their underwear. Their hands were burned. Forensic evidence suggests they were trying to climb the cedar tree, desperately looking for something, or looking at something coming for them from the tent. 3 others were found scattered between the tree and the tent, as if they died trying to crawl back. But the remaining 4 were found months later, buried deep in a ravine. These 4 had catastrophic internal injuries. 1 had a fractured skull. 2 had major chest fractures. Medical examiners compared the force required to cause this damage to that of a high-speed car crash. Yet, they had no external bruises. It was as if they had been crushed by high pressure. And the most chilling detail? Lyudmila Dubinina was missing her eyes. She was missing her tongue. Then came the forensic analysis of their clothes. They found traces of radiation, not natural radiation, but contamination found on their sweaters. Why would hikers in the middle of nowhere be radioactive? Another group of hikers, camped 30 miles south, reported seeing strange, glowing orange spheres floating in the sky over Kholat Syakhl on the night of the incident. The Soviet government closed the case within weeks. The official cause of death was listed as a compelling natural force, a phrase that explains absolutely nothing. Today, a memorial stands on the pass. It lists the names of the 9 who died, but it doesn't list what killed them. What do you think happened? Let me know in the comments.